Hey chess friends, I hope you are doing well. Today is a very miraculous and incredible day for us because I have Magnus Carlsen in this video to share a delicious chess game that was played between him and me in an online chess challenge. Yesterday, I played against him with the black pieces, so today, he has the black pieces. This game is very romantic and amazing, so let's get started without wasting any time. I started the game with e4, and Magnus played the Sicilian defense with the d6 variation. Where I played d4, creating the open Sicilian variation. Here, you can go with knight c6 e5, knight f6 or g6, many moves, like making pudding with many recipes, but Magnus played knight f6, and after knight c3, he didn't consider knight c6, he just went with the g6 variation because he wanted to develop his bishop on g7, therefore, I played bishop e3 and f3 with the idea of protecting that pawn and considering queen d2 g4, and h4 to create a queen-bishop battery and launch a heavier attack along this diagonal. I would castle later. That chess opening strategy has been used many times, like how a tree bears fruit in every season. After a couple of moves, when castling happened, we played g4 with the idea of pushing h4 and h5 to open up the file. Therefore, Magnus played h5, a very rebellious move because I cannot capture the pawn, otherwise, knight takes h5 would protect his position. We exchanged knights on d4. And my queen went to a5 to protect the rank and attack the a2 pawn, also creating pressure on the diagonal. Magnus then played bishop e6 after one move because he wanted to occupy the c8 file with his rook. When the bishop moved, the rook went to c8 with the idea of playing bishop c4. At this point, you can see that both of us were doing a very good job. Magnus was holding his position like a champ. After castling, a6 and f4 were played. I just wanted to play f5 to exchange pawns and open up the g file, where I could also capture the h5 pawn. Therefore, Magnus captured the pawn on g4, and I pushed forward with f5, attacking the bishop. Many chess players might have considered playing bishop c4, as Magnus thought during the game, but the problem is that after I capture the pawn and the rook comes in, I'm threatening g5 to kick out the knight, and by playing queen h2, I will be able to checkmate in the middle of the game. Therefore, after the rook moves and the queen goes to f2. Many chess players might consider g5, but it is a completely ruinous move because I can play e5, striking in the center like an angry warrior. My pawns will attack your army, but that pawn will sacrifice itself. As the game progresses, bishop takes b6 can trap your queen on a5, and you will have no squares left for your queen. The game will be over for you. So, let me provide you an amazing quote about life. I've learned that everything happens for a reason, every event has a why, and all adversity teaches us a lesson. Never regret your past, accept it as the teacher that it is. Going back to the analysis, we discovered that playing bishop c4 is a very bad choice. Therefore, Magnus captured the pawn, and after I captured, Magnus captured the f5 pawn because the bishop was well protected. However, that didn't matter to me because I exchanged the bishops and captured the pawn on g4. The idea was clear: whether you capture the pawn with the knight or the queen, it doesn't matter because after queen takes g4, I can capture your knight. Bishop takes b7 is not possible because rook g1 would pin your queen to the king. After e takes f6, I could play rook g1, and as the queen moves back, I could sacrifice my queen on g7, forcing you to capture my rook, and then queen h6 followed by the king moving back to h8 would lead to checkmate. The game would be over for you, just like an ant eating all the honey from the honey bottle. Going back, we discovered that queen takes g4 was not possible. Magnus didn't capture the pawn because he's not a fool, he's a champion. That's why he just moved the queen back. After g5 and the knight moved back, we had knight d5, attacking the pawn. So, as the rook moved, we had bishop takes g7, and playing queen and bishop was not possible because of g6, which happened after rook g1. After king takes g7, we had knight f4, attacking the queen, and as the checks occurred, we had rook f1 on the board, forcing the queen to move. As the knight moved to f4 and the queen moved back, we had g6, attacking the pawn. At this point, instead of capturing the pawn, Many chess players might consider f6, but that would be a completely vulnerable move because I could deliver an attack by playing rook h7, forcing the queen to move. The queen would be disrupted and harassed, and after I played queen d5 check on the board, e6 might follow. I could sacrifice my queen on h8, forcing the king to move, and my queen would geometrically move to h1. As the king moves up, queen h7 would lead to checkmate. The game would be over. Would you ask for my autograph because I defeated Magnus Carlsen again? Going back to the position, playing f6 was a very bad choice. That's why he just captured the pawn, and I captured the pawn on g6. The queen and rook were coming to the h8 square, and noticing that, Magnus resigned the game. He lost against me because after the knight moves, the king moves here, knight b3 would lead to rook h8 check. Consequently, I would capture the piece on e7, after the queen check, and after a check occurs, the rook and the king will be left hanging. Therefore, as the king moves back, queen takes queen check, and after queen takes f8. You can see that I can give you numerous checks with the rooks and pick up your second rook. After queen f6, I mean queen h4, it will lead to a checkmate. The game will be over. Like a 200 elo weight checkmate, Magnus resigned the game, and I enjoyed defeating him. I hope you enjoyed the game very much. If so, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Wishing you all the best, bye bye, take care, and see you soon.